Hi, now we will discuss about the special topic on the quotes, the single quotes. How to work with single quotes in Oracle database, either in SQL or PLSQL. So, how do we display the single quotes as output? Because the default characters that can be used for strings in SQL and PLSQL is single quotes. The character data or the string data must be enclosed within the single quotes. So, when we want to display the single quote as output, the compiler or the Oracle database server will treat them as differently. It will treat the single quote as either the starting of the string or ending of the string. That is why whenever we want to display single quote as output, or when we want to use single quotes in between the characters, we have to be very careful. We need a special care or special attention towards that, to use quotes in between our code or in between our strings. Now let us see how do we work with quotes. See, we have the traditional way of using quotes up to Oracle 9i, but starting from 10G, this has been enhanced. Even the traditional way is still available in the latest versions after 10G, 11G and 12C also, but we have the special syntax for that, so that we can easily take care of the single quotes. So this is one enhancement which is made in the version 10G. Now let us see the traditional way first, and then we will go with the enhancement which is done towards the quotes in the version 10G. Now we wanted to display Lakshmis as output. See, this is the starting quote, this is the ending quote. In between, we wanted to display one single quote, Lakshmis as output. If we execute this, we will get an error message. Quoted string not properly terminated. Because the database server is understanding the string as this is the starting, this quote which is present between I and S as the ending character. So one string is completed here up to LAXMI is one string, and then S is there. After that, one single quote is there. This is assuming that this is the starting and there is no ending for that. That is why this is giving an error. Now, how can we display this value as output? Let us use two single quotes. See, instead of one single quote, we are using two single quotes. Now, the output is coming properly, Lakshmis. I''S, it is coming as properly. Now this will assume that this is the starting and this is ending, one more starting, one more ending, or this is the starting and this is the ending, in between two are there. For every two single quotes within a string, it will produce one single quote as output. See, starting to ending, this is the string. In between there are two single quotes. For these two single quotes, it will produce one single quote as output. So we will get Lakshmis as output and we do not get any error message. Let us use the next. Let us use three single quotes. Again error. Use 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will produce 2. That means for every 2 single quotes, it will produce 1 single quote as output. 2 single quotes placed within the string. Every 2 single quotes placed inside a string will be produced as 1 single quote as output. Since we have 4 single quotes, it is producing 2 single quotes as output. First 2, 1, second 2, 1 more single quote. Let us use 6. 5 will give error. Yes is missing. We are using 6, that is why the output is 3. So whenever we are using single quotes within a string, then we have to be very careful how many single quotes you want to produce over there. For every single quote as a output, we should use 2 single quotes within the string. If it is a string, it should have 2 single quotes inside it. Then only 1 single quote will be produced as output. For every pair of single quotes, the output will be 1 single quote. Now, this is the traditional way of using single quotes. When we use 2 single quotes, it will produce 1 single quote as output. Now, there is an enhancement made towards this. When we want to work with quotes, we need not follow this traditional way. Use 2 single quotes, the output will be 1 single quote like this. There is an enhancement in 10G, that is using square brackets and Q. Q denotes quotes, and put the entire string within the square brackets, so that the compiler will understand that there is a quote in between, so I have to consider this as a single quote while displaying the output. See, Lakshmi's is our word. Put the complete word within the square brackets. Use single quotes on both sides, and then use Q in the beginning. Q, put the single quotes. In between the single quotes, use square brackets. In between the square brackets, use our word, the string, with single quote. Lakshmi's, only 1 single quote we are using. So when we execute this, the database server will understand that Lakshmi's is the word which has a quote inside this. Because of this Q, I have to display this as it is. So now we are getting Lakshmi's. So we need not bother whether to use 2 single quotes or 3 single quotes to produce 1 single quote like this. It need not be a single word. This is here quote is missing. Okay, using concatenation we can display a complete sentence also like this. Now, here we used single quote. It is not mandatory to use single quote. We can also use, we have used a small q here. It is not mandatory to use small q. We can also use capital Q. See, now also when we used capital Q also, the output is displayed. So, either we can use small q or capital Q. Both are valid. Next, we can also give two single quotes in between. So, with Q, in between we are giving two single quotes, it is displaying as it is. So, whatever the number of single quotes we give in between, the same number of single quotes will be displayed for us as output. So, this is an enhancement made for displaying the quotes in 10G. So, even the latest versions support the traditional format of passing single quotes, that is, every two single quotes will produce one single quote as output, or we can also use the Q with square brackets, either small q or capital Q. Both are available starting from 10G, 10G, 11G and 12C as well. Still, to support the backward compatibility, we do have the traditional way of passing the single quotes. That is, a pair of single quotes, when we use in the string, it will produce one single quote as output. So, both options are available starting from 10G. So, it's up to the developers which one to use, either the traditional way or using the enhanced way which is available from 10G. So, we need a special care or special attention when we are using single quotes in between the strings. Next, one more special topic, using ampersand. So, when we use ampersand in our development, in our code during the development, it will be treated as differently. So, we have to be very careful when we use ampersand. First of all, we are not supposed to use ampersand character in our code. It can be SQL query or it can be PL SQL code. Even in the header section or in the comment section, we are not supposed to use the ampersand. If at all we are using, we need a special care or special attention towards that. Let us see, if we use ampersand, what will happen. Because ampersand is the default character for substitution variables. For the substitution variables, ampersand is the default character. That is why whenever the compiler finds or come across ampersand, the words or the letters followed by ampersand will be treated as a substitution variable, and it will prompt for the value of this substitution variable during the compilation. So, we are not supposed to use ampersand in between our strings. Let us see what will happen now. Now, we wanted to display ABC ampersand ABC as output. We wanted the output like this, ABC ampersand ABC. When we execute, it is asking enter value for ABC, which ABC it is. It is not the first ABC. It is the second ABC which is followed by ampersand. If you do not give anything, the value is ABC. If we give some value for that, I'll give CCC or XX. Now the result is ABC XX. So whatever the value we are passing for this ampersand ABC will be considered, and this will be added to the ampersand ABC, and then it will be displayed as output. To differentiate, I will use PQR. Now it will prompt for the value of PQR. I'll use XX, the value is ABC XX. That means the ampersand will be treated as the default. It will be treated as a substitution variable. So we should not use it, or we should define, show define. Define is ampersand, hex value is 26. This is the default character which is used for defining or defining substitution variables. So we should make the define as off, set define off. When we make it as off, then if we execute, it will not prompt for the value, it will display the string as it is. So this is one way of working with ampersands. Before deploying the code into production, change the value of define variable to off. By default it is on, and by default the define character is ampersand. So make the define variable to off, and then compile your code into production or deploy the code into production. First of all, do not use ampersand. If at all you have used, or you are not sure whether ampersand is there or not, before starting the deployment, define, set the value of define to off, and then compile the code or deploy the code. Then it will not ask for any values of ampersand variables. See, now we can see the ABC and PQR as it is. See, we made define as by default it is on, set define off, and then when you say show define, it is off. ABC and ABC is coming as it is. Next, again we are making it as on, show define. Define is ampersand, default, hex value is 26. Now, if at all we wanted to define to display ampersand, when the define is on, if we wanted to display the ampersand, then instead of using ampersand character, we can use its ASCII value. The ASCII value of ampersand is 38. So when we use CHR of 38, the 38 will be converted to character. The corresponding character will be displayed. See here, when we execute this, ABC in between CHR of 8, we are converting the ASCII value of 38 to character, and the corresponding character of 38 we are displaying, which is ampersand. So 38 is the ASCII value of ampersand. By knowing the ASCII values, we can display the special characters like this. Now let us take some more examples. The ASCII value of ampersand is 38. ASCII value of tab is 32. ASCII value of new line, that is enter character, which is 10. ASCII value of carriage return is 13. Let us use them now. 38 we have used. Now ASCII of ampersand is giving 38. This is the proof. ASCII of space, I think it is not space, it is tab. It is 32. So when we use 32 is tab, but tab is not displaying properly here. So actually there is a tab here in between, that is coming as one space only. CHR of 10, which is new line. So when we use CHR of 10 between ABC and ABC, a new line will be added in between, means enter character will be added. So ABC and ABC will be displayed on two different lines because of 10. Now use 13. This is carriage return. It is coming as a single space. Now we wanted to print special characters like copyright symbol, trademark symbol, @ maybe 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, this kind of special characters we wanted to fill, to display or to use in our code. In that case, we need to use the corresponding ASCII value of that special character in our code so that that character will be displayed. Now let us see here. We are using some special characters here, some ASCII values. See, 169, converting this to character, which is copyright symbol. So 174 is registered R. 181 is mu. 188 is 1/4. 189 is 1/2. 190 is 3/4. 153, 134. Some it is displaying as junk character. And then 128 is the euro symbol, or we can call this as, I think, epsilon. See, when we copy paste this into our notepad, these two are coming properly. One is trademark, one is cross or crescent symbol. So when we wanted to use this kind of special characters in coding, while we are coding SQL queries or PL SQL procedures or PL SQL blocks, we can use the ASCII values of that particular special character in our query so that that particular character will be displayed in the output. Especially when we migrate the data from one database to another database, or when we store the data into LOB columns from through a UI screen, an application, then lot of junk characters will be stored in the database. We can see the filled square like what we have seen in our SQL Plus, like this. Sometimes the reverse question mark will be there. Question mark will be reversed. Sometimes the pipe symbol will be there. Actually, it is not a filled square. If it is reverse question mark, It is a kind of junk character. If it is a pipe symbol, it is not actually a pipe symbol. Internally it is some other character. But when we load this kind of data from application layer, when it comes to the database, it cannot understand that character, so it will store as some junk character. So when we search the data in LOB columns based on the exact string or using like operator, it will not display anything because of these junk characters. So we need to remove those junk characters. Those junk characters will be mostly the tab or new line character or carriage return. Mostly it will be carriage return or line feed or tab or new line character. When we press enter while entering the data through application, and when it comes to the database, that new line character will be displayed as a junk character over here. So we need to replace them. So to replace those characters, we will be using the ASCII values with CHR function. So first find, is there any new line character over there or carriage return character over there, using ASCII value with CHR function. If it is there, replace it with another character, either null or maybe space or something else, so that the data will be cleaned up properly. Now let us see one practical session here. Let us create a table. Or I will say T junk, which has C1 number, C2 varchar 2 of 20. Now let us insert data. Insert into T underscore junk values 1, comma ABC. We need to put junk value here, like concatenation CHR of 13. We don't know how it will be coming. Then BB, then CHR of 38, then CC, then CHR of 13, not 13, 10, DD, CHR of tab is 32, and then EE. One row created. Commit. Now select the data. Select star from T underscore junk. See here, ABC, BB, ampersand is there, CC. After CC, 10 is new line character, I think. Yeah, 10 is new line character, so it has come down. DD, and then 32 is a tab. Tab is coming as a space. 13 ABC, 13 is coming as null. Somehow it is displayed like this. Now let us check. Select star from T underscore junk where C1 equal to 1. This will come properly. Now we wanted to search based on C2, where C2 equal to, I will copy paste everything as it is. No row selected. Now we wanted to clean up this data. Now update t underscore junk set C2 equal to replace C2. If there is any ASCII value of CHR of 10, then null. Where C1 equal to 1. One row updated. Now let us select data. Yes, now it has come onto a single line because we have replaced CHR10 with null value. So it has come onto a single line. Now let us select where C2 equal to, I will copy paste as it is. Still it is no row selected. Now again update. If there is any CHR of 38 which is ampersand, we will replace this with null only. Ampersand character we are removing, or ampersand is not required. We have removed 10. 13. 13 is carriage return. Let us replace carriage returns. One row updated. Select star. Now use the same value in the where clause. Now it is coming, but there is a tab here. Now let us use, we are not copying, we are making this as single space. Still it is coming. Tab is converted to single space. Let us remove that tab to space. So update tab is 32. Use 32 here, and then if it is 32, use one space over there. We have converted to space. Now the tab is converted to one space. So if we use that single space now, if you search, then it will be displayed for us. So this is how we will be cleaning up the data when we migrate the data from one database to another database, or when we bring the data from external file to database or application to database. That's all about how to work with special characters. Especially with ampersand, we have to be very careful. Either we should not use ampersand in our code, or before the deployment, make sure that we set the value of define to off. If you don't make it as off, then wherever ampersand is there, every time it will be prompted for a value for that. So make sure that before the deployment, change the value of define to off, so that it will not be prompting anything. Or do not use any ampersands in between the code. If at all you want to use ampersand, use ASCII value of ampersand with CHR function, so that the output will be displayed as ampersand. And for other special characters, especially like @ trademark, registered, copyright symbol. For this kind of characters, we can use the ASCII value of these characters with CHR function, so that the output will have the copyright symbol or registered symbol or trademark symbol, etc.